Hey guys, Sandy here. Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to May I Scraplift You. Now today's person that we are scrapjacking is Nicole Santos, and I have picked this layout of hers that says coffee is my love language, and you know your girl loves some coffee. So I have this photo which is kind of funny. Thrilled to be here. I was exhausted on this day, guys. In case you couldn't tell, this was back in Hobby Lobby days. So I have this with this cup, and I also have this heart coffee mug, which Nicole has a black one in her layout, but I have a white one, so I'm going to use that. So let's see what I can do. All right, guys, so I'm going to start out with the tiny heart stencil, and I'm just taking some blue ink and putting it through that stencil. Now, these are blending brushes that the ink just kind of stays and lives on them. They are not my distress ink brushes. Those are something I use separately. I keep those inks away from the distress inks. That way they don't do any funny sort of chemical reactions with each other. So keep those bad boys one per color. I do have to order some more because I don't have one for every color, and it's an issue. But I will actually do that and order some one day. You know, I always say I'm going to do it, and I just don't. And I figure if it's been this long and I still haven't done it and I'm making it work, do I really need them? These are the things I think about, you guys. Okay, so I am going to take some of these papers, and I've got torn edges on some of the sides and not torn edges on the other sides. Now, in the layout that I am jacking, she does have a great humper border right in the middle of the page, and I am actually not going to do a humper border. This is kind of weird for me because I love humper borders. And usually if I am scrapjacking someone, I am all about using a humper border if they've used one. But for some reason this time this round I'm just not. Not exactly sure why that is. I haven't really delved into my thought process beyond that, other than I've just noticed that I haven't been doing it. What I am going to do is use some of these rhinestones, and I'm going to have that layer over top of both this orange polka dotted paper and also this really colorful striped paper. Now, this really colorful striped paper is from October Afternoon, and as you guys know, they have been out of business for a hot minute. And this is probably one of my favorite papers of theirs of all time. I might still have one in my stash. I don't remember if there is one in there or not. But yeah, it's good paper. I did matte my photo here on some pink paper, and that is because I've got the pink in that striped paper. So I'm kind of pulling the colors that I'm using all out of that paper. In case you were wondering why I was going with such a variety of colors, it's because they're all in that paper, right? They're all going to go together because they are already all together. So I have my white coffee cup die cut. I could not tell you where I have this, where I got this, you guys. It has been in the stash for a long time. I am pleased to say that my little die cut thing that I keep all of my die cuts in, I could probably condense that down and thin that out, which is pretty exciting. I guess I really don't go through that because I don't think of that as packaging because they're in page protectors. So yeah, maybe I should go through that. I am going to spray this coffee cup with two different sprays. One is from Brutus Monroe and one is from Dina Wakley. And then I pull out the heat tool, and I'm leaving this in here this time, you guys. Because I need this bad boy dry because I need it on the layout. Now, a lot of the times I still work with my mixed media when it's wet, but usually that's when it's on the background and I'm putting stuff on top of it. But this is in the foreground of the layout, so I need to make sure that it is dry enough to stick down. So I am going to do that. And while I am doing that, I'm sitting here looking at my new pair of scissors that I picked up at Retreat, and I was watching YouTube earlier today, and what do I discover but our friend Tim Holtz has put out new scissors, and they are like spring-loaded scissors and looking really fabulous, and now I've got scissor envy again. I don't know what it is, but I love scissors. I could just have a pile of them and be ridiculously happy. I do switch them out where I'll use one pair of scissors for a while and then I'll just, for some reason, switch and start using another pair of scissors. But I do rotate through them pretty regularly. There's just that one thing that you can't stop kind of, wanting. I almost said lusting after, but I'm really not lusting after scissors, and that's kind of weird, so we didn't say that. But then I just said it, so I made it weird, so there is that. But, everybody's like, oh, paper, I always want paper. That's true. There is always a pretty paper I can find, but if there is a tool that I'm always looking at, it's scissors. I just like them. I can't explain it. There's just something about a pair of scissors that feel good in your hands that is just like, yes. You know what I mean? What tool is that for you? Do you have a tool like that? I'm just curious. I've been thinking about scissors on and off all day long today because I was off of work today, so I wasn't thinking about coffee or anything else. So I had the opportunity to think about scissors. But anyway, the mug is now dry, so I am going to place that down here. I am following her layout pretty closely, you guys. I really liked just the composition of it. I liked just how things were laid out, so I am going for it. I'm going to add a couple more torn papers and put things a little bit differently. But that is the beautiful thing about scrapjacking. You can take it and make it your own, which just gives me utter joy when I do that, right? It's all about utter joy. So I am going to figure out a way to cover up what you see underneath of the mug through that heart. Now I could have just gone ahead and just removed that little bit of paper right there because it was bugging me. And now that I'm thinking about it, I don't know if I actually did remove that paper or what I did. Yes, I did. There we go. I was like, what did I do here? I forgot. And I only scrapbooked this layout a couple hours ago, guys, and already the details of it are blurry. So it's a real nightmare when I actually get ahead in my scrapbooking videos and go back to voice them over like a week or two later, and I'm like, what the heck did I do? And I'm like, I wouldn't do that this time. But anyway, put that heart paper behind there so I wouldn't have any of that awkward color and weirdness showing up underneath of it. I add this black heart die cut right next to it, so now I've got double hearts. I just really find this layout to be hilarious because I do love coffee mugs, you guys. And I have quite the little bit of a collection now. And this photo just gives me the giggles every time. I was kind of feeling, though, that this layout was kind of escaping out into the nether. So I decided to put this black and white diagonal washi tape at the top and the bottom of the layout, and that's kind of keeping it contained. I don't feel like it's just whoosh going out there anymore. I do add a little bit more of that heart paper up here at the top, and that just brings that darker color a little bit up. And then I am going to make a title. Now, I really liked her title on here. I thought it was beautiful. I liked how big and bold it was. I am not going to go with such big letters, which I definitely could have, but I am not going to do that. So I am doing the whole theme that she has, right? She's like scrapbooking about coffee, and here I am scrapbooking about a coffee mug. So we're very following the theme. I'm going to use the letters that are out of my never-ending kit and get that figured out. Now, I am also happy to say after I scrapbooked this layout, I was getting sick and tired of flipping through all of these letter stickers since I have multiple packages of the same one. So I sat and combined all of my letter stickers down onto 2 sheets. So instead of the 3 sheets, or 6 sheets I have of this letter stickers. I condensed it down to 2, and that means I have more space, right? I have more space in my kit, which is good because it's coming to the end of the May soon, and I got to refresh this bad boy for June. And that also means when the stuff makes it back into my stash, I have more room, right? Like that is the goal. Buy the stuff, use the stuff so you can buy more stuff. Right? Like that's just the way it is. So now I'm going to add on little bits. I'm going to put on this big old heart up here. I'll put some stars down here because why not? And then these little bits on top of the splatter that I've already got down there, along with some more colorful bits, will finish up the layout. And it's weird because I think I do all the little bits before I finish the title. So I was kind of like squirrel while I was creating this layout because it's a little bit all over the place and I'm not finishing one thing before I move on to the other. Here we are going back to the title. So it will say coffee makes it better. And I'm actually journaling on this layout to you guys. There'll be a couple sentences down below the photograph as well. It's kind of amazing. I actually did some decent journaling. I just feel like a lot of my layouts are kind of self-explanatory. That and I scrapbook so much of an event that you get the story. You get the story when you put all of the layouts together. Because a line or two are journaling here and there. When I'm scrapbooking 30 layouts about one thing, you're getting a whole paragraph if you put it together, right? Right. So now I'm going to add on these little bits here. And like I said, we are going back and forth between finishing touches on the layout and the title. And then ultimately I've got to go find letters to put on here that are going to spell out coffee, because that's kind of the whole point of the layout, right? So I am digging through the stash. I don't think I find them in the kit. I do think I have to go into the letter stickers that I have, which is a good amount. And then I find these brackets, and these are thickers, and these bad boys have lost all adhesive. The thickers are actually all loose in the page, and they have all fallen off, every single one of them. So, you know, when we say, oh, cardboard thickers you got to add adhesive to, but the foam ones, they stick. These foam ones did not, so just be aware your foam ones might be falling off too one day. And I also find this hilarious because I was very anti-brackets back in the day, probably around 2007, 2008-ish. I just hated brackets in scrapbooking, and brackets were everywhere at the time. They were kind of like my butterfly, but always butterflies have not been my thing. Things that I like and don't like kind of ebb and flow. Kind of like naked tag holes didn't used to bother me now. Brackets used to bother me, don't bother me so much anymore, but butterflies have been constant all the way through. But I find these thickers, and these are hard thickers to use, you guys. They're like the plastic puffy ones. They are a weird font. They are colorful, like way colorful all over the place. So they have to go on layouts that are way colorful, or maybe a black and white layout that you want to just bring a pop of wow in your face color to. And I figured this layout was great for that, right? Like this is a colorful layout. There's all kinds of colors going on around here. So I'm happy with that. And then I'm going to glue down some things because we were just talking about this. The adhesion is not adhesioning. We know that adhesion is a word, but is adhesioning a word? Can you verb any word? I mean, we do. We do verb words. Like the math isn't mathing. Googling something. We verb words all the time, so I can verb a word if I want to, too. That's what I'm saying. All right, the journaling's getting down on the page. This is going to go on that finished stack pile that is across from me on my desk, which is pretty hefty. And also, last month's pile is still over there, and that's pretty hefty too, so I need to get these bad boys in some page protectors and into their albums. But anyway, guys, that is going to do it for this layout. Big thanks to Crystal, who started the May I Scraplift You series. Be sure to check out the playlist down below. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and I will see you guys again real soon for another video.